Some big names in women's football made major moves from the NWSL to Europe during the winter transfer window, and it prompted many fans to ask the question, is the NWSL in trouble? In this video, we'll count down the top player moves in recent years between Europe and the NWSL. And since a lot of the concern has been related to the NWSL losing their top players specifically to Europe, I felt it only made sense to also look at which players have left European leagues to come to the NWSL in recent years. So I'll be ranking the top 5 player moves from European leagues to the NWSL and the top 5 player moves from the NWSL to European leagues in the last 5 years. So let's get into it. The criteria I used for the rankings are primarily player impact on the pitch, team success, and club expectations for the player. But I also took into consideration player reputation and status, media hype surrounding the move, as well as salary or transfer fee amount. Lastly, my rankings only include players who remain in the continent they moved to. So for example, a player like Amandine Henry, who left Lyon to come to Angel City, would not be included in this list as she's already left the NWSL to play in Mexico. Okay, so that's the criteria. Let's get going. Starting with the top Europe to NWSL player moves in the last 5 years. At number 5 is...
Delicately and all the way to the back post, and guess who's there to turn it in but Jess Carter.
Gotham FC's Jess Carter. Arguably Chelsea's best defender last season with Millie Bright out injured for most of the year, Jess Carter led the back line for the best women's team in England, being voted Chelsea's Player of the Year by the players, and she was named to the UEFA Women's Champions League Team of the Season. She won multiple trophies with Chelsea, and she's a Euro Cup winner and World Cup runner-up with England. Carter joined the NWSL in August and started in all 12 of Gotham's remaining games until they were eliminated on penalties in the semifinals of the playoffs. When you can get a top defender from a top team who represents a top 5 nation in FIFA rankings and is in the prime of their career, it's a big transfer. Next, at number 4 is...
Surge forward, Kundananji. Heavy tub, she gets it. Gets around a defender, takes a shot, Campbell! Kundananji, welcome to the NWSL!
Bay FC's Rachel Kundananji. Joining from Madrid CFF in Spain, the 24-year-old Zambian set the world record transfer fee in women's football last February for €805,000. And it's clear why Bay FC wanted her. Not only does Kundananji's pace and direct style of play suit the NWSL perfectly, but in her last full season with Madrid CFF in 2022-23, she scored 25 goals in 29 matches, which was the second most scored that season. With Bay FC, Kundananji played a key role last season, starting in 21 of 22 games. And although her production wasn't as high as expected, the 5 goals she scored was the second most on the team, and she led Bay FC with 4 assists. Next at number 3 is Kundananji's Bay FC teammate, and that is...
Albertine Montoya is going to be happy about. Bodie Oshuala shoots! It's in! History! The first ever goal for Bay FC.
For this pick, Oshuala's reputation, status, and impact she's had on the pitch for many years is why she ranked so highly. The 30-year-old Nigerian footballing legend is a 6-time African Women's Footballer of the Year, she's a 2-time Champions League winner, and she scored 107 goals in her 5 years with Barcelona across all competitions, including winning the Golden Boot in the 2021-22 season in Spain. With Bay FC, she's played 26 games last season, starting in 24 of them, and scored 8 goals, which led the team in scoring. And although this was Bay FC's first year in the league, Oshuala was able to lead the team to the NWSL playoffs. At number 2, well, this might be a little bit of a controversial pick, as I know not many people like this player, but I had to go with...
On the ball.
It's on here again. It's Williams. It's tapped across. It's 2! In no time at all. This one counts. Gonzalez again.
Esther Gonzalez of Gotham FC. If I focus on my ranking criteria of player impact on the pitch, team success, and club expectations for a player, then Esther fits all those boxes. Before joining the NWSL, Esther scored 93 goals during her time in Spain, and she's also scored 30 goals for her country, including at the World Cup. In August 2023, with Spain, she won the World Cup. And after that, she joined Gotham FC, and just 3 months later, she would go on to win an NWSL championship with them, where she scored the winning goal in the championship game. Last year, in 2024, Esther led Gotham in scoring with 12 goals and 5 assists across all competitions and helped the team finish third in the league, only 4 points off of first. She is the definition of an impact player who has contributed greatly to Gotham's success, and that's why she comes in at number 2. Finally, in the top spot, the number 1 Europe to NWSL player move is...
And Berger still able to read it. Look at her slide across, load that front leg, go with her top hand and push it away.
Gotham FC's Ann-Katrin Berger, also known as AKB. Now, what put Berger ahead of all of the other players is that prior to moving to the NWSL, she was the number 1 keeper for England's best team, Chelsea, leading them to 4 straight WSL titles, and she was also named to the WSL Team of the Year 4 times. She then moved to the NWSL last year and instantly became one of the best goalkeepers in the league. And that isn't an exaggeration. She literally won the 2024 NWSL Goalkeeper of the Year award, keeping 8 clean sheets and having a save percentage of 82.5%. Last summer, AKB also led Germany to an Olympic bronze medal as the number 1 keeper, earning her the Women's Footballer of the Year award in Germany. Her individual and team success at both the club and national team level make her the number 1 player move from Europe to the NWSL. So there you have it. That is the top 5 biggest Europe to NWSL player moves in the last 5 years. But there's been so many other good players that I didn't even name. Some honorable mentions include Jessie Fleming, Delphine Cascarino, Ule Sarr, Lacey Santos, Philly Rao, Anna Morehouse, Katie Zellum, Esme Morgan, Ludmila, Chloe Lacasse, and so many more. Let me know if there's any in this list that you'd put in the top 5 instead. Okay, so you've just seen the top Europe to NWSL moves, but what have been the top NWSL to Europe player moves in the last 5 years? At number 5 is...
Sweeps it wide to Caroline, bursting onto the scene here on the left-hand side. Around Ale, chips in as well. What a wonderful strike.
Manchester City's Caroline. Now, she's only played a few games with City, but Caroline's impact in the NWSL, the hype surrounding her move, and the high club expectations from Manchester City put her in the top 5. She scored 17 league goals in 37 games with the North Carolina Courage, and in 2023, she won the NWSL MVP award. She's a consistent threat on the wing and when she's running directly at defenders. Now, unfortunately, she did tear her ACL in late 2023, which limited her production in 2024. However, Caroline was still a highly coveted free agent before joining City and is reported to be making one of the highest salaries in the WSL. Manchester City have high expectations for her, as the wing position was one of the positions they wanted to improve their depth on after Hemp got injured. If Caroline's form can return to what it was before her ACL tear, she will be a force for Manchester City. Next, at number 4 is...
Imagerie à présent. Carpenter, la frappe, le but! Delly Carpenter, à quelques minutes de la pause.
Ellie Carpenter. Now, I've seen a lot of criticism of her lately, but she still ranks highly as a top NWSL to Europe player move. In 2020, at just 20 years old, Ellie Carpenter made a massive move from the Portland Thorns to sign with Olympique Lyonnais. And 2020 was like pre-Barcelona dominance. Lyon was literally the biggest women's team in the world at the time. And Ellie Carpenter didn't just join as a depth signing to come off the bench. No, she immediately became the starting right back. Outside of her ACL injury, she's consistently held down the right back position on the team, helping Lyon to 3 French league titles and the 21-22 Champions League title. While I don't think she's quite reestablished her speed and explosiveness from before her 2022 ACL tear, she still meets the criteria as someone who's had a significant impact on the pitch, her team has been wildly successful, and she filled a big hole for Lyon in the right back position after they lost Lucy Bronze. Next, at number 3, is a teammate to Ellie Carpenter at Lyon, and that is
setting up as to who is best set. It's Lindsay Horan. How about that?
Lindsay Horan. Now, I know this is another controversial choice because, again, similar to Esther, there's a lot of people that I know who do not like Lindsay Horan or Lindsay Heaps now that she's married. And look, it's no secret that Lindsay Horan is not as dominant of a player as she once was. However, similar to Ellie Carpenter, Horan rates highly based on the ranking criteria. For player impact, she was one of the best midfielders in the NWSL, winning the 2017 Championship MVP and the 2018 regular season MVP. And in 2021, she won the US Soccer Female Player of the Year. Last year, she was named to the UEFA Women's Champions League Team of the Season, the French League Team of the Season, and to the Best FIFA Women's 11 team. This year, Horan's 11 goals are the second most on the team and third highest in the entire league. And her 6 assists lead Lyon and are second highest in the league. She's also had team success, playing a significant role in helping Lyon win the French League title 3 years straight and the UEFA Women's Champions League title. She's also a World Cup winner and an Olympic gold medalist. Lastly, club expectations were high for her when she joined Lyon. Lindsay joined in January 2022 and went on to play in all remaining Champions League games for Lyon that year, including starting and playing the full 90 in the Champions League finals, where they beat Barcelona 3-1. Lindsay Horan's resume speaks for itself, and based on this list, she's been one of the best players to leave the NWSL to come to Europe. Okay, number 2 on this list is...
And this will fall for Goma! It's 1-0, Naomi Goma, and in the camp of firsts, there's another one!
Chelsea's Naomi Girma. The 24-year-old is considered to be one of the, if not the best, center backs in women's football. Girma was the number 1 pick in the 2022 NWSL draft, and in her first season, she won the NWSL Rookie of the Year, as well as the NWSL Defender of the Year. In the following season, she was the 2023 US Soccer Player of the Year, and once again won the NWSL Defender of the Year for a second straight season. She was also named to the Best FIFA Women's 11 team last year. Naomi Girma, of course, also has team success. In her rookie season and San Diego's first year in the NWSL, she helped them finish 3rd place in the league, only 4 points off of first. And in the next season, San Diego topped the league, finishing 1st. And not to mention, she's also an Olympic gold medalist. But probably the biggest proof of why this is a top NWSL to Europe move is that in January 2025, she became the first $1 million transfer in women's football history. And in my opinion, I do think she will be worth every penny, but only time will tell. And finally, here we are, the number 1 biggest player move from the NWSL to Europe in the last 5 years, and that is...
Right. Looking for Kerr, finding Kerr! And she opens up her WSL accounts.
Chelsea's Sam Kerr. Look, I couldn't even put on the screen all of the awards Sam Kerr has won in her career, as they are just too many to list. She's won numerous Golden Boot awards across multiple leagues and set goal-scoring records across multiple leagues. She's won the NWSL MVP and the WSL Player of the Season and been named to multiple Teams of the Year. Team-wise, since leaving the NWSL, Kerr has gone on to win the WSL title 5 times, the FA Cup 3 times, and the League Cup twice with Chelsea. Prior to 2020, Chelsea had only won the WSL 2 times in 8 seasons. Then Sam Kerr joins, and Chelsea have won the league ever since. There's no other player who's moved from the NWSL to Europe and had quite the impact that Sam Kerr has had. And for that reason, she is the number 1 player on this list. So there you go. That was the top 5 biggest NWSL to Europe player moves in the last 5 years. And it's a strong list, but of course there are many that I didn't name. Honorable mentions go to Emily Fox, who I originally had at number 5 actually, Tarsiani, Rachel Daly, who won the 2022 Golden Boot Award in her first season back in the WSL, Fuka Nagano, who doesn't get as much attention on Liverpool, but was one of the best midfielders in the 2022 NWSL season. There's, of course, Jenna Neiswanger, who just made the move. And also there's the Australian trio, specifically Caitlin Ford, Steph Catley, and Hayley Razzle, who all left the NWSL in 2020. Let me know if there's any in this list that you'd put in the top 5 instead. So I'll show the two lists side by side. Now, I know I've been saying Europe, but the top moves have really just been to the WSL or France. I will say that personally, I do think that the players that have moved from the NWSL to Europe are slightly better, especially taking into account that their average age is about 3 years younger than the players that have moved from Europe to the NWSL. But the caliber of players moving from Europe to the NWSL has really improved in like the last year or two. Looking at the players on the screen, the majority joined the NWSL just last year in 2024. So yes, while losing Girma, Tarsiani, Caroline, Emily Fox, and Neiswanger in the past year is a big loss for the NWSL, the quality of the recent moves to the league should be encouraging for fans, especially if you also consider the talent coming from outside of Europe, like Temwa Chewinga and Barbara Banda. But what do you guys think? Let me know who you think has had better player moves in the last 5 years, Europe or the NWSL. And let me know if there's any players you think I may have missed. As always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more women's football content, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.